Hi, welcome, welcome. I'm so glad you've joined me today. I'm Kelly Pitts with Create with Kelley, and I am a Stampin' Up! Demonstrator, an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator from Lubbock, Texas. And I have been a demonstrator since 2005. So 20 years I've had this as a fun hobby and a part-time business, and I really appreciate your support of my small business. So thanks for watching. I hope you'll give me a thumbs up if you enjoy this card. We are doing the second card in a series of 8 cards that I have created from the Joyful Days Memories and More card pack. And those were originally designed for scrapbooking, but they make awesome cards too. And I'm excited to work with them. So I had a lot of fun creating these. And actually, out of one pack of the Joyful Days card pack, you can make 6 each of all these designs that I made, because I only used 1/6 of a pack, if that makes sense, and added some embellishments and cardstock. So we're going to start with, we'll move this up and hopefully y'all can still see that for a moment. We're going to take our card base, and this is, oh my goodness, let me see if I was afraid I took that to the other room. It's 4 1/4 by 11, scored at 3 1/4 and 8 3/4. So 3 1/4. Whoop! Sorry, I'm gonna switch the camera over so y'all can see now. We'll just do that solo. There you go. If y'all need to see me, you can let me know. Excuse me, I've had a bit of a cold, so just have to clear my throat now and then. I apologize in advance. Okay. So we've got the card base. You've got the score marks there. And we're just going to fold this. Make sure it's lined up evenly on both sides. Use our bone folder and get that burnished so you've got a really good crisp score, because you want this card to lay as flat as possible. So do your burnishing well on both sides. Now we're going to take, instead of just assuming that this score line is exactly right, which is hard to get it exactly right. I don't know why, but it always seems to be. So I match it up with this other side over here. Hold on to that and then use the bone folder to burnish. And that way you won't have a little gap in the middle. That is possible if you don't line it up that way. Okay, lay flat. Come on. Ooh, lay flat. All right, and I've got a little bit of a corner there. Sometimes you can, if you get your cardstock out of whack, you can, there we go. That works. All set. Okay, now we're going to pull out our other pieces in our kit. If you got a class to go, here's what you'll have. We're going to stamp first. We're going to go ahead and do our Merry Christmas. And this is from the Merry Christmas stamp set, which that's the only stamp that's in there, is that big, beautiful Merry Christmas. Isn't it gorgeous? Now you are going to have to use, for sure, use a Stampin' Pierce mat, something with some cushion, and really, really, really ink your stamp up really, really well. And it does look like it gets in the crevices some, but so far we haven't been getting it on our card with a big mess, even though it looks like it would be. So you can tell I've got a juicy pad, and we really, really, really inked it. So hopefully this part in the middle won't mess with us. If it does, we will try it again on the other side. And I'm going to kind of center this left to right. Try to get that straight. Now straight down, really use some pressure. Let it sit there. Don't be impatient. Really, really, really let it sit there. You want a good, solid image of that cherry cobbler. That's such a rich color. But it's really dark, so it does show if you miss some. So we're going to go straight up. Yay! The C, for some reason, on my ink pad, and I mean my pad, I think it's because it's a little too close to the edge there. Doesn't quite get it, but it is close enough for me. It kind of looks watercolory, and I am good with that. We'll get that cleaned off and move on. We're also in Cherry Cobbler while we've got that open. We're going to stamp our traditional labels stamp. This is from the traditional labels dies, and I don't have those in here. I thought I did, but I can't show those to you at the moment. And I wish I had a block that this didn't go quite to the edge, but right now they're all mounted and tied up. So we will hope for the best on this. This again is Cherry Cobbler. And this is from the Jolly Holly stamp set. The Bright and Happy Christmas wishes. Kind of hard to say. Bright and Happy Christmas wishes from the Jolly Holly set. And we've got that in right, hopefully in the center, right where the camera is. So we'll hope for the best. Straight down, straight up. We've got our Cherry Cobbler stamping done. Now we'll switch over and do the little branches in the Old Olive. And I think this is the only card of the 8 that I use the Old Olive ink. And if you don't have that one and you have the Mossy Meadow, that would work also. But we're going to take the inside that we stamped the Merry Christmas on, and we're going to use the little branch that's in the same Jolly Holly set. And please, y'all, let me know if you tune in and have any questions. Let me see which way I did this. Yes. Old Olive. We're just kind of rounding off the corners here. And don't rush, just make sure you get it a solid image and you don't make a mess around it. If you turn it over, you can always see if you do, and you can clean that off before you stamp on your piece. And these don't have to be exact, at least in my opinion, they don't. Just give a festive look to the inside of your card. All right, branches are done. Now we're going to do a little bit of making the front Christmas tree a little more festive. And I am going to take my Wink of Stella. I don't know if y'all have done this before, and it's very messy, so I'm going to put a big old sheet of paper here to kind of help protect my work surface just a bit. And I'm going to take the Wink of Stella and get it down in the, whoop, there you go. There's plenty of it. That's why I usually do this over my silicone mat, but I don't have that handy, or I couldn't reach it at the moment. So I've got some of that in my hand and I'm putting it on here. You can see that I'm just whacking it against this bone folder. You could whack it against a pen, whatever. But I'm making that splatter on the tree. Isn't that pretty? Let me see if I can get this where y'all can see that better. Now you can see it, all the little splatters that we just put on there with Wink of Stella. And we might as well splatter the inside too, because I have a lot of this in my hand. So we're going to do it again. Whoop! Dang it. I hate that that made a mess there, but it'll dry. It'll be okay. It's authentic. Okay, if only I had some place to put this so I wouldn't waste it. let's see, I'm scraping it off onto my silicone mat off of my hand. Let me get a wet wipe. Now I'll be right back. Okay, we are done with that part. I kind of overdid that wing still a little bit. Be careful when you're squirting it out there. Okay, we're going back to our card base and gluing this in. And this, you can use your Stampin' Seal or liquid glue, whatever makes you happy on that one. And usually I use my silicone mat, but now it has Wink of Stella all over it, so we're not going to. Make sure you let that dry before you put that in back in your card there. And then I'm gonna, since I've got that much Wink of Stella, I'm gonna use that on these little leaves also, which will pick up a little bit of that ink, or it can, of that green, but it'll be really pretty. Love that. How did we ever live before we got a Wink of Stella pen? If any of you don't have this little glitter pen, this is something everyone needs. And you're going to need more than one because you're going to fall in love with it when you get it and use it. And they do run out. Okay, there's the inside. Now we're going to take the front pieces. And we've got two pieces, and that was 4 by 5 1/4, in case I didn't say that. And these, the Joyful Days cards, this is the rest of this card is on another card that we'll do in a few minutes called, that has peace on it. It's just a peaceful forest scene. But this card used to be 4 by 6, and I cut the 2 inches off so I could use the plaid from the back. And then this, I believe, is 2 1/8 by 4 1/8. And I've cut out some holly leaves that I'll use for something else in here too, because this is just a layer and it's not going to show. So by golly, we're going to do that. I'm just going to glue this. Let's see. No, I'm going to pop those up. Okay. Let's close this. Again, and we're going to glue this down to the card front. And like I said, this would be 2 1/8 by 4 1/8. So we have that layer. Then our other old olive cardstock layer is 3 1/8 by 4 1/8, this piece. And you could punch anything you want to, punch or die cut anything out of it just to use that cardstock. There's no reason to waste that because it's not going to show. We're just going to cover it up, but it sure looks pretty and makes it have a finished look to the card to have that layer sticking out. We're going to make sure those are stuck down. Okay. Now we're going to pop these up. And this is the 2 by 4 piece. Like I said, that I cut out of the Joyful Days card. Yeah, I might want to raise this up just a little bit here because the greeting is going to go across here. So that part doesn't need to be bumped up, just the bottom, because we'll have the label above that. So we've got this pretty plaid with the little bit of old olive, a little bit of mossy meadow, a little bit of cherry cobbler, a little bit of real red in there. It's a nice little holiday mix, isn't it? Cute. Okay, now we have our beautiful tree that's all sparkly. Pretty, pretty. And we're going to pop that up also. And this was a 3x4 card to start with. We're using plenty of dimensionals here. Because Christmas cards are special after all. How are y'all doing with your Christmas card making? Are y'all almost finished? Or just starting? Or where are you in the process? We have been, our Create with Kelley crew gals have had classes every month since July. So we're at least getting some done. I don't know how everybody's progressing on their own at home. Now I'm going to add a little, just a teeny tiny green bow out of this old olive linen thread. Make it as small as I can. Just pull that through. Didn't quite make it with that loop, did I? Or barely did. See if I can get hold of that. I have really long fingers, so we'll see. Oops, I think I just pulled that out. We'll just pull it out and start over. One more try. And we've got Thanksgiving coming up. How are your Thanksgiving plans doing, Kelley? You keep pulling that too far. Slowly, I get to talking and get excited about what's coming up. What's next? Do y'all do that? Not always totally enjoy and focus on the moment because I'm thinking about the next thing and the next thing. It's not good. We should stop and smell the roses. All right, Kelley. Let's learn that lesson here and not pull that all the way. We're going to pull that. Somehow it's easy to tie a bow lickety split when you're not on camera, but it's a little more difficult on camera. Okay, we want that straight. All right, let's snip that off and see what we think. See if that's small enough for what we want. And you could, of course, instead of a bow, you could use a star from another set, or you could just put a large gem up there at the top. But since we're using linen thread on the rest of the cards, I just thought we would go ahead and use it on this one. What do you think? Do you want to make it smaller? Do you like the long tails? This one has a little bit longer tails than this one. What do you think? Just the little short tails, or you want long tails or medium tails? Nobody's commenting at the moment, so we're just gonna go with this. I'm going to do the glue dots. And you always take your embellishment to your glue dot, and it's a lot easier. That way it'll stay on there better for you instead of sticking to your fingers. And I'm going to kind of roll that up. I'm going to take your pick tool. Whoops, almost lost my link of Stella in the trash. Can't have that. Okay. There's our cute little bow on top. And I'm still going to stick that under just a little. I don't want that glue dot sticking to the envelope and wreaking havoc. Okay. Now we're going to put our bright and happy wishes on. And you want to make sure that you only put your dimensionals on that one side. I don't know what all fell off of my desk here. Oh goodness, I've lost my dimensionals since I did a video a few minutes ago. Okay. So we're going to put 4 over here. And just so I know exactly where to put this, I want it to overlap some. I don't want to cover up a ton of that tree. So I'm going to put my fingers where I cannot have any dimensionals. And that way, I won't get carried away while I'm talking or doing something else and put the dimensionals in the wrong spot. Because I want it to open up like this. Get that straight. Now make sure they don't show on the back, and they don't, so yay. And then we can use our little jewels. Do we want one on the tree? Do we want some on the tree? Or do we just want them over here? Or do we not want any over here? That's kind of big for there, isn't it? I hate to use 4 of these. Let's see. Let's put 1 on the tree. One, 2, 3 on the tree. I think we'll just do that and not put them over here. If you get your pack of dimensionals, if y'all got a class to go kit and you want to put your embellishments on the little label too, you certainly can do that. Okay. Now you can tell me what you think. I think that needs to go over a little bit more. I think I'm good with those, so I'm going to press those down good. And here are your 2 choices of how you want to do it. If you want the jewels on the greeting over here, you can add those. If you don't, you can just leave them just on the tree. Whatever works for you. Here was our original one. Opens like that. Pretty. And then we have this one where we've got the little splatter, and we have the wink on the leaves and the wink around the label. I think they're both really pretty. We might. I've got 8 cards. I'm going to wait and see. I may come back and add those, but this way it gives everybody a choice. All right, easy peasy. I'll turn the camera back around and say goodbye. Thanks so much for tuning in. Hope you will give us a little thumbs up if you enjoyed the video. We're going to switch back over. And here's the bright and happy Christmas wishes. Thank you again for tuning in. I appreciate your help and support. If you need any of the supplies, I'm happy to help you with that. Let's see if I can get that bigger. There we go. Maybe that's a good shot there for you. And it opens up like this. Merry Christmas. Thanks for tuning in. This Joyful Days is a fun set. I'm about to do some more videos, so stay tuned. I'll have another one in a minute. We've got 8 cards in this series, so fun times ahead. Thanks again for tuning in.